Hello and welcome to Item 26, Supervision of Play and Learning. And as we know, the infant and toddler environmental rating scale is what ITERS represents, and it is a way of grading and rating your early years classroom or early years setting. It's not based on individual people's practice, but on the practice that happens in that early years classroom or space. So item 26 is concerned with how the team supervises play and learning of children. So as you know, ITERS is rates the practice inadequate, number one, minimal, number three, good, rating scale 5, and excellent, a rating scale 7. So what we're going to do in this short presentation is start with some of Sammy, that's me, my top tips for supervising children's play and their learning. And then we're going to jump in and we're going to look at the criteria for the inadequate. So that is the things that you should not be doing. And if in fact your early years setting or classroom meets any of the inadequate criteria, you are stuck at inadequate, which is a rating scale 1. Providing you're not meeting any of the inadequate, you can go on to the minimal, and that can bring you to a rating scale 3 on the framework, and you need to be doing all of the minimal in order to hit the rating scale 3, and then the good and the excellent. And we're now going to look at all of those criteria across the rating scale. So as I said, let's jump in and start with some of Sammy's top tips. So my top tip number 1, when you're thinking about supervising children's play and learning, is to work hard to create a balance between free play and adult initiated play or adult led activities. Within the early years environment where children are learning and playing, there should be a good balance between things that the adult is getting involved in and the leading and supporting, but there needs to be a good balance of children being able to explore, experiment and play in their own way for their own reasons with the resources that they choose to play with. So that's my top tip number 1. Top tip number 2 is observe children carefully. And when I say observe, I mean really observe. Watch what they're doing, watch what they're saying, watch how they move, watch how they interact, watch how they access resources in the space. Observe what's happening and use those observations to make well-reasoned interventions to support learning or think about thoughtful ways of intervening in their play to extend, to develop, to help them with conflicts or problem solving. So you stand back, you watch, you understand, you formatively assess what's going on, and you make interventions as an adult to children's play only when it benefits the children and the play. So you might notice that a resource is running out. They're building with blocks, the blocks are running out, so you can automatically help fill up that resource so that their play doesn't need to unnecessarily come to an end for them to go and look for the resource, for example. You may need to step in to help children manage conflict in their play. My next top tip is about showing genuine interest in the children, in what they're doing, in how they're playing, in what they're engaging in. Show them that you're interested in their learning, show them that you're interested in their play, ask questions about what they're doing, and give real credence to their experimentation in their play. Get excited with them about what they're doing. And then my next top tip is about whether to stand back or get involved. And in order to do that, you need to do what I call read the room. And this comes with being an experienced, well seasoned early years practitioner. The longer you're doing this and the more professional you become, the easier it is for you to know when to stand back and when to get involved in children's play. A good example is to get involved in children's play when they invite you. Now, their invitation to play might not be, Sammy, come and play with me. Could be a play cue, could be making eye contact, could be passing you something. It could be a very subtle or a very obvious cue to come and play with them. Your professionalism will allow you to read the room and understand what those play cues mean and know when it's appropriate to get involved in children's play and when it's appropriate to stand back and watch and observe what's going on. Okay. And in doing that, you need to think about supporting children to play in their own way with the resources that they want to play with and the people that they want to play with and the way that they want to use and interact with those people and with those play activities. And that might be a different agenda to the agenda that you had when you set out the play. For example, if you've set out construction making materials and you envisage that they're making towers from it, connecting the pieces together, but actually they make toy weapons with it, support and allow that play script to develop and allow children to play with those materials in a way that perhaps you hadn't anticipated. If you put out a smelling tray for children to smell and experience on a sensory play, but they decide to take the lemon that you've put out and then play with that in the role play area to make lemonade, that may not be what you've envisaged, but that is allowing children to play with resources in their own way, and that supports their cognitive development, their problem solving, and it supports them to have control and independence over what they do, and really to fully explore their play scripts. Find ways to enable play to take place uninterrupted. So avoid, for example, interrupting children's deep play to change their nappy or to do routines or to move them to another place. Allow wherever you can for play to come to a natural end before you make an intervention or move them to do something else or something different. Okay. Take part in play with children and lead activities when this is the right thing to do. So let's jump in and start looking at those ITERS criteria. We are going to start with inadequate. Here we go. So if you are doing any of these three things in your early years setting, then you are stuck at an inadequate and you must make changes. Strive towards excellence. That's what Sammy always says. So, staff focus almost completely on managerial or routine care tasks. This is in the context of supervising children's play and learning. So, rather than interacting, jumping in, supporting learning, planning for children's next steps, engaging with activities, extending their thinking, observing and making rationalized interventions. Instead of all that great stuff, staff are focused on managerial checklists, making sure children's nappies are changed, and that's their interactions. Most interactions between staff and children happen in groups and are started or directed by staff. So rather than interactions during children's play where children can approach, you get involved, you ask questions, you extend their learning, throughout the morning or the afternoon, it's all about just addressing groups, either the whole group or groups at circle time, things like that, rather than individualized communication, support, supervision, scaffolding. Staff do not interact appropriately with children during their play. So all of the things that we've just spoken about aren't happening. If you're doing any of those things, you're coming out at inadequate, you're stuck at a number 1. Number 3, minimal. If you're doing these things, then you are coming out at a minimal or higher if you're doing some of the goods as well. If you're doing only 2 of these things and you've not met any of the inadequate criteria, then you will be coming out at a number 2. Children are minimally supervised during activities. Staff generally stop problems or conflicts amongst children, and staff sometimes walk around the classroom during free play and interact either with individual children or small groups of children. Okay, you minimally must be doing those things. So let's see, what is a good? What is a good? Striving towards good. Children are usually within sight and easy reach of the staff. Staff usually react quickly to solve problems in a comforting and supportive way for children. Staff often show interest or appreciation for what children are doing during their play, and staff start activities or conjure up experiences for the children, but also allow children to play on their own. So it's about that balance of adult initiated and child led. So if you're doing 2 out of these 4, you're coming out at a grade 4. And if you're doing all 4 of these, you're coming out at a 5. And if you've got these 4 and you're looking at, so let's jump in and have a look at those excellent criteria. Here we go, the 4 excellence. So if you're doing 2 of these and all of the goods, you're coming out at number rating scale 6. If you're doing 3 of these and all of the goods, you're coming out at a rating scale 6. And if you're doing all 4 of these as well as your goods, you're coming out at a rating scale 7. Okay, so staff usually watch children carefully and act in advance to avoid problems. So you'll conceal conflict brewing and you jump in ahead of time. You can see the children are running out of resources. You jump in ahead of time to resource, rezone, and provide what's needed. You see ahead of time that children are losing interest in what's out there. You get a game going. You start an adult initiated activity. You provide additional resources. That all links in there to that first criteria. Second criteria, supervision is individualized. So you're really looking at and really noticing the individual children in the room. You're thinking about what they need in terms of support and supervision, and you are providing it. Staff often change the amount of supervision given to meet the requirements of the different activities, what's going on in the room, the children involved, the tone, the pace, the vibe. So that means that you're dynamically involved in the space. And finally, there is at least one team member providing close supervision of the children while other staff are handling other routine tasks and situations. So those are your excellence criteria. And if you're not already doing those, think about what changes you can make to your setting, your approach, your provision in order to strive towards excellence.